All right, everybody, welcome back to Life Unchained. And what we're going to talk about today is functional blood work, its importance, why do I do it, all things functional blood work. So first off, in order to really understand functional blood work, you have to understand conventional blood work, which you've probably likely done. When you go to the doctor and you do a physical, your annual checkup, and they take some blood work, and likely the answer you get back is the same, is everything looks normal. I always got the picture of health, like all these things. But we don't want to blame doctors because of this. It's not really their fault. They're taught from a different lens. They're taught through looking for the absence of disease. So their ranges are much bigger. These are the normal ranges. And so there's a lot more room for error in there. They're wider. So they're just looking for disease, and if you don't have disease, then you're healthy. That's how they look at things. But the way I look at things, the way functional blood work looks at things, is using functional ranges, using optimal ranges. Now, these ranges are a lot tighter. They are geared towards optimal health and optimal function. And so if you are outside of it, that actually gives us insight into how the body is functioning. So with a specific marker, that can tell us that there's maybe nutrient deficiency, because without that nutrient, that marker can be elevated. So that gives us an insight into that's possibly why something's elevated. It allows us how to see how different organs are functioning, if they're optimal or not. That's really what we're looking at, is the lens that we want to look through is optimal health. And if something's high or low, then there's something that we can learn from that and plug into that to move people closer towards optimal health. So there's tons that you can glean from this. And this is why I'm so passionate about functional blood work, is because I've been able to do it and seen massive benefits of just like my day-to-day focus, my drive and motivation. Like obviously I'm optimizing testosterone, and without functional blood work, I wouldn't really know how to do that. What ranges are actually low, what levels of testosterone are actually low, because the normal range of testosterone is anywhere from like 200 to 800. And in reality, my lower limit is 700. So if you're below 700, there's work to do to optimize that, to get it to the higher ranges above 800 is what we're looking for. So that is like the framework, the basics of understanding normal ranges versus optimal ranges and why that's important. Next, we have to look at how those ranges are created. So there's several things we can look at. One, the average person that's going to get blood work, ideally they're going to be a little bit older. They might have issues arising, and that's why they're going to get blood work. So the sample size is already a little bit skewed towards elderly, and elderly people are going to be less healthy than younger people, just in general, because as you get older, you're going to deal with more health issues. Second, in America, the average population, our obesity rate is 40%, which is crazy. So that is a large portion of people who are getting blood work who are messing with the normal ranges. It's based on the average population. And the average population in America is not healthy. So when you go to a doctor and they tell you everything's normal, that doesn't really give you much, because the normal that they're looking at is heavily skewed in the direction you don't want to be. Okay, so that's the framework, that's the foundational understanding that you need to understand functional blood work and why it's important and why you should possibly consider it. The next thing, and this is why I got into it, is something called health handbrakes. One of my mentors talks about this concept. He says, and I definitely echo this, for any physique change, health is a prerequisite. So if your body's constantly in a fight or flight state, if it's lacking certain nutrients, it's going to be a lot harder to achieve a physical goal that you want. So like if you want to get shredded, if you have health handbrakes, it's going to make it harder for you to lose some of that weight. So in order to get the best possible results, we want to look at health first. We want to have a health first approach of optimizing everything in terms of health. So then your body's not fighting anything. Your body is fully nourished, is the word I'm looking for. Your body is fully nourished, and therefore the health handbrakes are pulled up and physical change mental change, all of the changes, transformations that you want are going to occur much easier because your body's not fighting itself. Some health handbrakes that can possibly arise, and the big one that I talk about is low testosterone. Symptoms of that includes low energy, low sex drive, low libido, lacking drive and motivation, just not really having that edge, not really feeling as much of a man as you used to. And so this is what really blows my mind of like people, coaches who talk about optimizing testosterone, but they don't read blood work. Like they don't know. So understanding where your levels are is foundational to optimizing your hormones. And it's not just total testosterone. There's free, there's SHBG, there's prolactin, there's LH and FSH, there's DHT. There's so many different things that are affecting it. And then even more upstream is cholesterol, is your fat intake, is your gut health, nutrient status. So all this stuff trickles down into the testosterone equation. And again, that's why I use functional blood work. It's not just testosterone optimization, take these supplements, you're good to go. There are supplements, but it's looking at, like I said before, health first. If the goal is to optimize your testosterone and just have crazy energy, drive and motivation on point, build a ton of muscle, then we have to go back upstream and see how is your health? Where is your health foundationally? And then move that closer towards optimal health. And then from that, optimize testosterone. Hormones are downstream. Now we can do both at the same time. We can work directly with testosterone and then also at the same time optimizing health as a whole. And that's generally my approach and seems to work. So that is one of the health handbrakes that I wanted to talk about. There's tons of others. Like just think about all the organs and systems in your body. If they're not functioning adequately, then massive things can start to go wrong. One of the biggest ones that I see is low stomach acid, and that trickles downstream of like, if you're not digesting and assimilating your food as well as you can, you're going to have gut issues possibly, and you're just not going to be able to get all the nutrients from the food. So everything downstream from that, energy levels, hormone levels, is going to suffer. And so you want to make sure that you're optimizing health in general so that you can get the end result that you want. I'm going to make this one pretty quick, to be honest. I just wanted to be short and sweet, understand the functional blood work, why it's important, examples. And also just like explain the difference between going to a normal doctor and doing functional blood work, because you get so much more from it rather than just like spending $100, $150, $200 on getting blood work. You send it to the doctor and they're like, yeah, looks good. Keep doing what you're doing. But you're like, oh, fuck. Like I don't feel the best that I do. My energy levels have been suffering. Like I don't feel as driven, as motivated as I used to do. And that's where functional blood work comes in. We want to get you closer towards that optimal place. And so I wanted to make that distinction very, very clear so that when I talk about blood work, people don't think that that's what I'm talking about, because what I do is completely different. And the people who have received a protocol or clients of mine know how detailed it is and how detailed I get. It's very in depth. And so that flows into my philosophy and like what I do and what my clients get, and just the patterns that I've seen in the industry, being in the industry for 4 years full time now, which is pretty crazy, of these like generic templated approaches that coaches use. Like they have this, it's marketing, they get people in and then they just throw everyone in the same program, same nutrition, same meal plan, same training program, like same everything. And then they wonder why some people don't get results. Like some people that'll work. That's all they need is just like, bro, like start lifting, move more, stop eating shit, right? It's pretty simple, but it's for those people that don't get the results that way, that want more, that want to get closer towards that optimal. This is where an ultra specific protocol comes in. And that's what I do. That's what the functional blood work is, making sure that all of these health handbrakes are removed. And so that, maybe you previously tried to increase your energy levels or optimize your hormones and maybe you just don't know, or you've tried something and it didn't really work. You didn't really notice. It's because most likely you're guessing. And I see this a lot with people who don't use functional blood work. because they don't know. They don't know how the systems and the body is actually operating. They're guessing. And so without that, the protocol isn't going to be as good as if you have all of the functional blood work or the blood work done. And then another thing that I haven't really talked about is just a very extensive symptomology report. And that those two combined give people that do functional blood work crystal clarity on what is going on with that person. And then the approach is ultra specific to target all of the issues that are going on with this person. And so that all the issues are removed and you move forward effortlessly into high testosterone, high energy levels, building more muscle, having strong, healthy physique, all that stuff. And so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this didn't ramble on for too long. Keeping it pretty short this time, just to let you guys know how important functional blood work is and how it can absolutely transform your life. Catch you guys in the next one.